All right. Look at that. Already 50 people through the door. Hey, everybody. My name is Jeremiah Taylor, part of Team Ojo. Excited to welcome you all to today's version of Stump the Script Master. These are one of my favorite things. As y'all are joining, holy cow, I just like blinked and there's now 200 people in here. Panelists, this is what your names do when we tell them that we're going to have you. So thank you for agreeing to do this. Hey, as you join, let's make sure the chat works because we are going to have a Q&A session. We are literally going to give you the opportunity to try and stump our script masters at some point during this call. So open up your chat window, go in there and tell us what part of the country are you joining from today? That way we know. Awesome. I see Austin, San Diego, Orlando. Hey, Oscar, I see you there. Albuquerque, Encinitas, California, Salem, Portland. Okay, this is amazing. All right, we're north of 250 people on. For those of you that just joined, my name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm part of the team here at Ojo. Excited to welcome you to this version of Stump the Script Master. If you just arrived, pop open that chat window, drop a note in there to let us know where you're coming from. That way we also know the chat feature works and you can chat with us so we can hear you. We've got an amazing panel for you today. For those of you that don't know, the way that we do these Stump the Script Masters is we have been kind of cataloging from you the things that you want to hear about the most frequently. And we have a list of those. And so we will have our team go through those. And then for the last probably 15 or 20 minutes of the call today, we will give you an opportunity to live try and stump the script masters with these scripts or objections or things that you want to hear them talk about, that you want to hear them respond to. And holy cow, gang, we are already at 275 attendees. We're going to give people 1 or 2 more minutes. For those that just joined, welcome. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm part of the team here at Ojo. Pop open that chat window. Tell us where you joined from so that we have that. Give it 1 more minute before we get everybody started. Cool. All right. I think we're there. We're just a hair shy of 300 people. So for the last time, welcome everybody. My name is Jeremiah Taylor. I'm part of the team here at Ojo, and welcome to this version of Stump the Script Master. It is 12:04, and I'm going to hand it over to our host, who is back by popular demand. Now, for those of you that don't know, Mr. Craig Rieger has been a key player in the national real estate scene for over 25 years, even though he doesn't look a day over 25 years old. Craig's a former Keller Williams franchisee, owner, and regional director. Craig's led offices of well over 1,000 agents. I think it's some even over 1,200 agents, closing north of $3 billion in sales volume a year. In 2020, Craig launched his team, Rieger Homes. They're an independent brokerage. Their team is called the Rieger Group. They are one of the nation's top performing and most recognized real estate sales teams. They've sold over 5,000 homes. And Craig, many of you would know Craig from his curriculum called 90 Listings in 90 Days, and also his partnership with Ojo Pro as one of our conversion coaches. So I want to say welcome to Craig. I am really excited for today, and I'm going to hand it over to you, my friend. Thank you.
JT, thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. We just hit 309, Jeremiah. This is awesome. We're excited. This is our third, at least my third edition of being the moderator of Stump the Script Master. So we're back by popular demand. And I'm absolutely thrilled for the panelists that we have joining us today. So first up, and what's cool is I actually know these panelists really well. Close personal friends, traveled with them, business partners with them. First up from the sunny state of Honolulu, Hawaii, Mr. Rustin Tong. Rustin is the co-owner with his beautiful wife, Shar, of Tong and Partners, based in Honolulu. What have you guys been in business now, like 15 years, Rustin?
Yeah, Shar and I together have been 15, been in for 21 years.
Congratulations. You're 30 under 30, recognized way back in 2006. And you're the #1 highest producing team in the island. So we're absolutely thrilled to have you on. I know you're tracking to close well over 100 million this year. Rustin, you primarily work with buyers as well. So we're going to definitely talk about listings. I know you have experience with that, but in the way your team is operated, it's going to be exciting to hear what you've been doing to have such a high level of success in this ever-changing market. And by the way, it's great to have friends in Hawaii. So if you get a chance to go to the islands, reach out to Rustin. He's a heck of a host. Next up, we've got one of my closest friends on the planet, my business partner at Rigor Coaching Consulting, somebody that I look up to and has taught me so much, and I'm excited for him to share for the first time on Stump the Script Master, Mr. Josh Cooley, owner and founder of the Josh Cooley team in Eugene, Oregon. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for the invite, JT.
Absolutely. So your team is also tracking to close over 100 million this year. How many agents do you guys have right now?
We are at 9 agents right now.
Wow. Okay. So 9 agents, 15 years of experience. Your team is an Ojo team. So is Rustin's. Yeah, man, it's going to be a lot of fun. And then last up, we've got Miss Ashley Force. Ashley jumped on today because we had somebody else that was out sick. She is just an absolute Terminator. I asked Josh and said, hey, we have somebody that's sick. I'd like to have a third panelist on. Who do you know? And Josh said, well, Ashley's been hammering the phones all morning calling the pond. If you're not familiar with what the pond is, a lot of large teams will use the pond. Those are for leads that somebody said have gone dead or non-responsive. And so we move those out of our personal accounts and move them into a larger pond where the agents can go and play. Ashley attacked the pond today and set 5 appointments before even having lunch. And these are, again, leads that other agents and organizations that are not motivated or non-responsive. So Ashley Force, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And Craig, we should be honest about what really happened. I volunteered and Craig was like, yeah, no, thank you. We want people that actually sell real estate every day, Mr. T. Like, beat it. We'll find somebody great.
Okay, that did kind of happen. And we did find somebody great with Ashley. And Ashley, a really cool name in Ashley Force. So Josh really introduced you to me as a closing assassin. So with that said, the format today is we're going to go for probably a good 35 minutes. We have a whole bunch of questions and objections that you're all facing out there in the field that you've emailed in. So we're going to hit those. Some of them I'll ask all 3 panelists. Others I'll just ask maybe 1 or 2 panelists. If you have questions, type them into that Q&A section. We've got the chat bar, great job. Go over the Q&A section. If you got an objection you're facing your business and you want to stump the script masters, feel free to put that in. If you need us to dive deeper on any of the topics we're hitting on, put it in. We'll monitor that. We'll do our best to answer all of those towards about the last 15 minutes of the call. So panelists, you guys ready to rock and roll?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, Josh, I'm gonna start out with you, right? We've been facing this, like people talk about a shift, like it shifted, right? I think it was April or maybe March of a year ago is when rates went up, 3% in 90 days, like one of the largest rate increases in a short period of time in the history of our company or country, I should say. And we've been dealing with that. Like they fluctuated down and up, like they're 7.25, 7.5 right now. And it's like, the consumer, what we're hearing constantly is rates are too high. I'm going to wait for them to come back down. Josh, how are you dealing with that objection in your business?
Digging more into their why, and it's just going to be simple and boring. Using terms like the good news or most people, we're seeing 15-20% off, but there's still people that are buying every day. And at this point, a year in, most people are actually okay with the rate. I mean, they don't like the payment, but they've adjusted their finances at home. They've just come to grips that that's what it's going to be. And if you want to move, you want to move. I mean, a home it's your home. It's where you spend most of your time. So is it bad to say we don't just push past it, but we're having conversations with people that are okay with the rate?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. There's property selling. Do you have an exact script you use at that moment, or is it more just asking questions?
We have not a full script, but it's things like most people, I bet you're like me, this is painful. The good news is rates more than likely will come down and you can refinance, right? You date the rate, you marry the house. Would you be open-minded if we could find you an assumable rate loan? That's a great one just to get them off the fence of, well, yeah, if I could get a better rate, I'd be interested. Before you make up your mind just to throw in the towel, if we could find you a payment that fit, so we talk payment instead of rate. So that's what we practice. We practice these little short questions or statements that allow us to keep the conversation going for the name of the game, follow up.
Awesome. How about you, Rustin? Anything different? Because we're all hearing that objection, right? Current
Yeah.
consumers are backing out. Maybe people showing homes to new leads that we're getting, and it's like I'm going to pause. I want rates to come down before I get out there and buy. What are you doing to tackle it?
So typically it depends on how long they've been looking for. Let's say they've been looking for, I don't know, 2 years. That's a long time, but hypothetically. And you say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you've been searching for a while. And do you remember when the market was extremely hot and the interest rates were super low? So the competition was extremely high. And at that point, people were paying $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 over asking at a lower rate. And when in that particular market, the inventory was so low, you just had to buy whatever was on the market. Well, at this point, because the interest rates are a little bit higher, yes, we have to make some adjustments in terms of what it is you're actually looking for, in terms of maybe instead of buying that 2,000 square foot house, it may be 1,800 now. However, at that particular point, the interest rate affects one thing, and that's your monthly payment. And so the monthly payment of X is something that you're comfortable with, right? Perfect. So in that case, here are some houses that fit within that monthly payment that you're able to actually get into at this particular point in time. And in the future, if the interest rates come down, perfect, you can refi. In the future, if the interest rates go up, what have you just done? You've just secured the lowest interest rate. Interest rates have been at 2.5% for a very long time, about 3 years. That's like comparing running a mile to the fastest mile that's ever been ran, the 4-minute mile. So instead of comparing it to that, let's zoom out just a little bit. And 8% is the actual, between 6 to 8% is the national average of where interest rates have been over the last 40 years. So it really boils down to getting in at this particular point in time, because that allows you to, number one, start to reduce your principal balance down lower. Number two, it also allows you to get into a position where you're putting seed in the ground, and now appreciation can take place and your asset can continue to move forward. Or in this case, you're wanting to buy this, let's just say a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and has that ensuite that's on there. Guess what? You can rent that out for, in our market, $2,000 for that 1-bedroom market, which allows you to, yes, the payment is maybe a little bit uncomfortable, but the instant that you are able to rent out that mother-in-law suite, add-on, whatever it may be, your payment actually comes down a little bit lower. So the real question is when you're comfortable to get in, let's get in.
Outstanding. Ashley, anything different you're doing than the previously mentioned?
I'd say from my standpoint, like these conversations that were happening about rates and trying to connect with buyers, they're happening really early on in that relationship, if not like the very first conversation that I'm having with buyers. So I just like to turn it back on them. They say interest rates are too high, I want them to come down. Well, what do rates need to be for you to jump back into the market? If they say, I don't know, or they need to be in the 5s, okay, well, it sounds like your monthly payment is what's most important. So if we can find you a home that fits that monthly payment, do you want me to let you know about that? Yeah, that'd be great. Great. And now we can hang up the phone. It's a quick call and I have a follow-up for them.
You're really good. Awesome. I had an agent come in on my personal, we own a coaching company, Josh and I do. I have a brokerage here in Portland, Oregon. I have a team that's out there working every single day. And I'm still somewhat in production. I took a listing this morning. An agent come in this morning, his name's Rocky. He's been with me since March 1st. And Rocky, brand new to real estate, March 1st. He has put over 30 deals in escrow. Since March 1st through last week. And Rocky came in like 8:30 this morning. I've been out of town. I got back late last night. He's like, Craig, like I need some help with this interest rate conversation. Where would you take that? And I know, Rustin, that you're at Bill Howe in Arizona with Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez. And I saw that Diana Kokoska was one of the speakers. And it's something that she taught me 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. Logic makes you think and
emotion makes them act.
Job, Rustin. We didn't even practice this.
No,
Logic makes you think, emotion makes you act. So logically, it's like, well, wait, I'm not going to buy now. Rates are 7.5. That's the logic. And the emotion is just simply asking back, well, let's just pretend that rates were at a place that you're comfortable buying today. Where would you buy? Why? What would that do for you? What would life look like after you moved into that property? How would it be different than now? So I found if we can get over to the emotional side, if logic makes you think and emotion makes you act, and I steer away from the logic, yeah, rates are high, and I go to the emotion, and then I tie it all back together, well, say, I don't know if or when rates are going to ever come down. Probably at some point, But regardless, you said you want to move so that you're closer to the office, so your commute goes down by 45 minutes each way. And that gives you an extra hour and a half to be with your family per day. You know, multiply that by a week, that's like 10 hours a week extra you just got back. Like, why should we wait a year or two for you to have that move when we can possibly do it now? What if we could have a seller pay the closing cost? So that's my objection on it. And the other one I have, and I'm just going to share my screen because I got this morning from my team. I thought it was pretty awesome. This is my Portland market. This was based on 9/12. What was that, like yesterday? Look at price reduction, 612 price reduction in the last 7 days in Portland, Oregon. And one of my staff members wrote, that's the highest number of price reductions we've seen since August 1st. And new listings, 709, highest number of new listings since week of July 11th. So what's happened the last 7 days in my market? We've had more people lower their price than we've had in months saying, please sell my property. I need to get out of here before the holidays. And then we've had more people hit the market saying, please sell my home. I want to be sold. So I'll work on overcoming objection rates with knowing what's happening in my local market and using that as a conversation or an advantage when I'm talking to the consumers.
And
Okay, so sorry, go ahead.
the important part about that are one of the things that just in listening to you is that in knowing that the market is falling, it puts the buyers actually in a position where they can negotiate a little bit more, where you can, in some cases, and depends on what a property is priced for, you can get credits, closing cost credits. You can do 2-1 buy downs if you wanted to do an interest rate buy down temporarily. It puts the buyer a little bit more in the driver's seat than the past market that we've been in, which is, you know, the seller's market, where you just take it and you want it, you got to pay for it type of thing. So there's a little bit more opportunity to be able to negotiate from a buyer's perspective. And again, it depends, you know, where the property is priced at, but clearly in your market, sellers are in a position where they're just now starting to get realistic. So take advantage of that emotion, because the sellers are at a place where they are feeling realistic. So from a buyer's agent perspective and also a buyer's perspective, what is the best price that we can get for our clients? In some cases that's credits, some cases that's a lower price, and it could be a combination of the two.
Yeah, you're right, Russ. And but somebody asked me to put it back up, so I did. In my market, 612 sellers literally just said, pay me less money for my home I want to sell. So why don't we segue that into the next question of re-engaging old leads, right? When we're in the lead servicing business and we're partnered with great companies like Ojo that provide us with opportunities, we've got our sphere, we have our past clients, possibly we're doing open houses. Like, if all is going well, we should have a plethora of leads coming across our desk on any given day or week. And unfortunately, not all of them act immediately. Unfortunately, not all of them say, Craig, let's do this. I want to buy a home this weekend. Let's make it happen. We get what I call ghosted. The lead just quietly disappears. And we're always struggling as an industry of like, what item of value, what gold bar, how can I follow up? And so for me, I go back to this table again. I might reach out to somebody that ghosted me a month or two ago and has been quiet since, and I'll send a text or I'll leave a voicemail. It's like, JT, it's Craig Rieger with Rieger Homes here in Portland, Oregon. I know we haven't talked in a couple of months, and I've got really good news of what's happening in our market. As of yesterday, 612 sellers lower their price saying, please pay me less money. I have to sell my home. So I just want to reach out, Jeremiah, and see if you're looking for a good deal, because 612 sellers are expecting that to happen to get their property sold. So what are you guys doing? Ashley, I'll start with you. What's your favorite technique or script to get somebody that maybe ghosted you or stopped responding to get them reengaged?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's a great topic. That is one of the tactics that I use. I try to give them a little nugget of good information or something like a bright side, I guess. You know, we're seeing a lot of price reductions. We have a lot of really eager sellers. People aren't really selling their home right now unless they absolutely have to, which makes it so that you're going to get a good deal. I like to keep pocket listings kind of tucked away as well and offer those up too. Hey, we've got these sellers. Nobody really likes the market right now. Sellers don't really want to list and buyers don't really want to be in a competitive, situation. So that kind of makes these off-market deals really special right now. We can kind of get a win-win for all parties. So I'll a lot of times throw out an off-market. We have a lot of those on our team. I know not everybody does, but we just do. And then I'll also re-engage with, sort of that. Here's what we're seeing, and here's how it benefits you.
Really good. Josh and Ashley, that was gold. And I completely agree, but I also kind of disagree. Like, you guys have been focused on these pocket listings for a long time. And I think at one point, Cooley, like 3-4 months ago, you're like, I pulled a report of all the listing appointments we've gone on in like the last X amount of years that didn't hire us and didn't hire anybody else. These are still people that raise their hand saying, I might sell my property for the right price. And you, as a company, have really been targeting and tracking and building these pocket listings as a gold bar opportunity to re-engage new leads, or to engage new leads and re-engage old leads. So break that down for us a little bit deeper of how you use the pocket listings.
Solving a problem or creating a solution to what people who sell their home just want to sell it and get out of it with the most money possible, least hassle. Buyers want to feel like they've got an opportunity to, in the last market, not have to compete with 20 other offers. Timing is huge. So a seller that says to us, we don't want to sell for 9 months or a year until Susie graduates, like, yes, we'll probably sell that 10 times before then to a buyer who's also not ready for 9 months, right? So we're parlaying these conversations, go lead, opportunity, right? A lead is when you get that phone call from Ojo, or you get their name and email, right, and phone number. The opportunity is what you hear and what you turn it into. So someone that's pushing you away saying, I have a home to sell first, we're going like, that's an opportunity. I may get to call 20 potential buyers and say, hey, don't know if this is coming up. It may not be right for you, but I know about a 5-bedroom, 4-bath, 3,500 square foot in the neighborhood you mentioned you were looking at.
And it's
Right?
not on the market.
What was that?
And it's, what's cool is it's not on the market, right? They can't look this up on Zillow. They can't have another agent that set up searches for them. Like, this is something you're able to provide that they never would have known about without talking to you.
Exactly. And we truly believe that it takes between 8 and 12 touches, contacts, points of communication to get to the closing table or to earn the business. So we've created a system in-house that gives us energy and motivation to make these calls and put these pieces together.
And to add on to that, like, I would say the pocket listings really come in handy too when you're trying to re-engage, because even if you've had one conversation with that buyer and it was, 6 weeks ago, probably in that first conversation, you didn't really nail down what it was they're looking for in a home if they were to be looking. So we can go back with these pocket listings. Even if I know this isn't the house for them, this isn't what they're looking for, I can give them one of those pocket listings and say, hey, we have this off market. Is this the kind of home you'd be interested in? I know they're going to say no, but I brought a little bit of value to it. And now I have another follow-up. So our whole game here is about leaving a little like trail of breadcrumbs, and then also keeping a little bit back so that you always have that follow-up.
What's cool about that, Ashley, is, right, even though it may not be the perfect fit, they're going to tell you what's not the perfect fit. No, we actually
That's right.
We need a 4th bedroom. We need a 3rd car for the garage. Like, so you're right. You're getting more info from them because you called on that pocket listing, and they're going to, if it's not a fit, they're going to tell you why. And now you get to hone in even more on meeting their needs. It's really cool. Rustin, what's your best strategy in the islands right now for reaching out with some of those colder leads, gone quiet, ghosted us?
We're similar on the hot property. So there's 2 things. One is that you want to tell the story that you want and reinforce the belief system that you want your clients to have. And so when we do make that phone call and that re-engaging phone call, part of that conversation is, hey, this is Rustin with Keller Williams. I'm just reaching out. We're always working hard and thinking out of the box for our clients so they can have the best opportunities possible. I'm calling you. We just had a hot, we call it hot properties. We have a hot property that's not even on market yet. I was talking with a client. They're thinking about selling. They're just on the fence right now, but we believe they will sell. And it was something that I think would match you perfectly. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Well, you go through the stats of the house. And remember when you said, going back to their pain and pleasure, remember when you said you want to live 15 minutes from your office? Guess what? This one is like 16 minutes. It's 1 minute over, but it'll work. So from that standpoint, and then we also use third-party out validation, which would look like this. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, right now is an absolutely amazing time as far as shopping is concerned. We were able to get our past client, buyer B, whatever his name is, an amazing opportunity. It was a single family house. It was listed at $879,000. It did need some work. However, we literally got it for $730,000 with a $30,000 credit to them. Now, I'm not saying that that's necessarily going to be the exact case for you. However, that's the opportunities that are available in this market for those that are willing to think a little bit outside the box and work with those that are willing to go above and beyond to be able to help you and your family find the perfect home that's going to suit your needs. So it's really just engaging with them and presenting that opportunity.
Awesome. All right, let's go back a little bit, right? We talked about the interest rates. We talked about re-engaging some leads that have ghosted us. A topic I'm extremely passionate about here at RCC and our partnership with Ojo, and really frankly, just teams and agents that we coach around the country, is what I call not screwing up the first call. Right. So when we look at Ojo, we're getting that direct connection more times than not. My theory on it, or my strong belief on it, is we become an on-demand society. Right. Like, I was literally in San Diego at a wedding this weekend, and the bridal party showed up late in the evening and the bar was closed. And one of my staff members like literally pushed a button and a 12-pack of Coors Light showed up 20 minutes later. Right. We can do that for vehicles. We can go on Amazon and purchase virtually anything on the planet and have it at our doorstep 12 to 30 hours later. And what I believe is on these types of leads that the consumer pushed a button and they want to see the property. And what we're doing as an industry is we're doing what I call traditional real estate. Rustin, Josh, we've been doing this a long time, probably how we were trained. Like, heaven forbid, I'm not going to go and meet them without a pre-qualification. And I'm not going to meet them to do a buyer consult. I'm not going to waste my valuable time. And it creates a disconnect because they push this button and they just want to go and see this property. And I'm doing everything I can to block that by taking them through a process of traditional real estate. So Rustin, let's start with you specifically. What do you do or not do on that first call to build a quick rapport and to give them what you know they're looking for?
So easy button call is, let's say they come in, they want to see a client, or excuse me, they want to see a property, I don't know, tomorrow at 2:00. It's always perfect. Tomorrow too works absolutely perfect for us. We do have to reach out to the sellers to see if that aligns with their schedule, but we absolutely will be able to be there for you. Tell me a little bit about this particular location. I see that's in Waikiki. Just kidding. It's in Waikiki. And is that the area that you're specifically looking for? Yes, no, whatever their response is. I noticed that there's 2 other properties that are also in Waikiki that kind of match that description of what you were interested in. I can also set those up for you. So you mentioned 2:00 tomorrow. Would we be able to go from 2 to 3, or however long it takes you to migrate between your listings, right? From 2:00 to 3:00. Yes, we can go from 2:00 to 3:00. Perfect. Help me understand what got you looking in the Waikiki area. Well, we're transplanting and moving. We want to have a vacation rental. We want this. So you find their motivation. Perfect. So if we'll be able to set up the schedules, I'll reach back with you. I'm going to check with the sellers. I'll reach back with you for 2:00 tomorrow, and we'll be able to confirm that time with you. If that time doesn't work, what's 1 or 2 alternate times that we could already pre-schedule with the sellers and match with their schedule so we can be able to meet at those particular times, and then we set the appointment.
Let's give Rustin a round of applause. What Rustin just did from A to Z is he took that call through what Ojo has created on the Connect, Set, Learn. And if you're not familiar with Connect, Set, Learn, maybe somebody from the Ojo team can put that into the comments section. There's some incredible videos by Mr. Jeremiah Taylor, who kicked us off this morning with Mr. Chris Eller. And they'll walk you through, it's like 10 minutes of watching videos, Connect, Set, Learn. So he had a powerful opening. He set the appointment really quickly, right? Yeah, sounds great. I'll see you there at 2:00 tomorrow. I do have to confirm with the seller that they're going to let us in, but I'm good to go. I'll see you at 2:00 tomorrow. And they went to the learn, and he learned 2 things. He learned, is there any other properties they want to see? And that is critical because in the market we're in, yeah, we were talking about price reduction and different things, but most markets around the country, a well-priced property in the right neighborhood is not going to be available 3, 4, 5 days after it hits. It's probably going to have 1 or multiple offers and be gone. So if you set multiple homes to go and tour, there's a much higher probability you're going to meet that consumer. And then the other part of learn that Rustin hit is, hey, why Waikiki? What interests you about this? So he's learning about their motivation and why that part of the community. So Rustin, you nailed it. Ashley, anything different you do or don't do on that first call?
No, Rustin really hit the nail on the head there. I think it's important, like for me, I never ask about finances on that first call. That tends to spook people, I feel like. So I just save that for when we meet in person. And then, after the call, I always send a text with my contact info.
Really good. Cooley?
I've heard first call multiple times. What about the second call? So you set the appointment as soon as you can, meet them at the house. That's what they want. Let the easy button go down. I know a lot of people, and 90% of agents prefer, 95% of agents prefer to work through texts, and that's fine. So does the client. But in this case, what is a good time to call you back to confirm that that time will work for the seller to call you back? You let them give you a time. Now you've got 2 calls. You may look up other properties to show them, because I know that we say, hey, we got three properties that are like that. BS. I'll challenge most agents in this room and across the country that they just know their market so well that they know 3 properties in the area, right? When they pulled over to take the call from their car. So setting up a second call is a great way to continue the conversation and get more. So I challenge our team to make that first call shorter, give them what they want, and then get them back on a time of their choice and see where they can go from there to continue it.
That is pure gold, Cooley. And what you said several times is keep it short, right? Rustin nailed it. Ashley confirmed it. That call 1 should be a pretty quick call, but you brought it to the next level and said, great, I do need to confirm the seller is going to let us in at 2:00 tomorrow. What's a good time to call you back so I can confirm that with you? And to your point, Josh, it allows you, like, what if that property's pending? What if it's agent a company and you can't get in for 3 days? What? Like, it gives you an opportunity to do a whole bunch of homework and research and find additional homes and to get well prepared for that next conversation. Because as Rustin did Connect Set Learn, he learned about other properties, but he also learned what their interest was, in this case in Waikiki. So he can do some additional research and get back with them. So yeah, that's just awesome.
We listen to our call recordings as much as possible on platforms that do it, or we'll record calls for practice. What I notice about incoming is agents aren't ready a lot of the time. You can tell, like, I know what you sound like when you call. You are preoccupied, right? We also look at our Ring Central incoming calls for sign calls and the length. And I'll go down and see 40 seconds, 1 minute and 30, right? 2 minutes, and then 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh no, what did we do there? we dropped the ball in our process, right? So even looking at a short call up front, and then we talk about it with the team to make sure we're running this play. Like, it is a system.
Sometimes on these calls through the first call, the client will whoever asks the questions leads the conversation. And sometimes the client's trying to grab the conversation and say, well, what about the maintenance fees? What about safety? What about, and they just start what ifing. And there's there's a thing called the squirrel method, which basically is that you get all of their objections up front. So perfect. You mentioned that the schools in the area are important to you. What else is important to you? And you what else them until you get all, is there anything else? Nope, that's it. It's the schools. I want to make sure I've got parking. And I want to make sure that, amenities are in a very, very close proximity to where the building is. Perfect. I'll be able to get all that information to you. I'm going to see you at 2:00. Again, I do have to pen or, touch back with the seller in terms of confirming our appointment for tomorrow at 2:00. Then that gives you time to get off the call, grab all of the information that you need to, because again, it's an easy button call, right? You just want to get on, get off, and then do your research and whatever else you need to do.
Really good. Shannon just asked a question to the group, and what's wrong with the longer call? Nothing is, Shannon, but we're just sharing with you from our experience on that first call. If you have a quick call and you give them what they want, yes, I will see you tomorrow at 1:00 at that property. You have a powerful opening. Like, Shannon, I'd say watch Connect Set Learn through Ojo, and it will walk you through it. More times than not, it'll be a better experience for that consumer. They didn't push a button to have a 13-minute conversation about how much money they're putting down and whether or not they're pre-approved and da. They pushed a button to see the property. So if we can just have that initial call start there, they're actually going to bond with us at a higher level by giving them what they want. And then to Josh's point, reaching back out and maybe digging a little bit deeper. This
Hey,
is
Craig.
Sorry, go ahead.
Craig, I'm going to jump in for just a second because this is the point where we always get the objection, and I saw it in the chat. And it's the one where, like, when I grew up in real estate, you'd get agents that they'd get on stage, they'd like puff their chests out, and they'd be like, I don't let anybody in my car without a pre-approval because you don't waste my time. And it was really fun. It was like a thing, right? Back in the day. The world's changed, and I think we can all acknowledge that. But like, if you all could address two things. One is like this, and by the way, it is a limiting belief. It is a mindset thing about don't waste my time. If you could address that. And then the second is there is a very real safety issue when you are dealing with meeting strangers on the internet. So some best practices about like navigating that would be amazing.
Got it. What was number one? I got excited about number two. What was your first one, Jeremiah?
The first one is like, there is a limiting belief in like, it's a waste of time to go meet these people. How do you all think about this? Like, are you wasting your time, or do you just think about it differently?
I'll share with you how my team and I look at it. I want every single member of my team in a perfect world to meet 2 human beings a week at a property that they never would have met for the first time. Just 2 a week. That's 1 every 3.5 days to pull into a driveway, shake somebody's hand, and tour a property with them. And if all goes well, to then lead to a buyer consult, to then talk about our unique value proposition, to then work on making sure they're pre-approved and pre-qualified. But my thought is like, I will never be too busy in this industry to spend twice a week meeting somebody for the first time. And statistics have proven when you meet somebody in person, you're 300% more likely to conduct business with them. So am I willing to do that twice a week, 8 times a month to get a couple of sales? I probably wouldn't have gotten yes. Now, shame on me, Jeremiah, if I meet with them a second or third time without pre-qualifying. Right? That's shame on me if I keep spending my time with them without doing a needs analysis, sharing my value proposition, making sure they're pre-qualified. But that first meeting, like, I'll do it all day long. Yeah, Ashley, Rustin, Josh, any different thoughts on that?
No, I completely agree. And like, full transparency, I'm not like a super seasoned agent. I've been in the business for 2.5 years. So I don't have this like background of like, you know, how some other agents might have, you know, been in it a little longer, and they kind of have, I know that mindset exists, of like, I don't show a home to somebody who's not pre-qualified. I don't ever think about it that way, because if they're not, then that's another value that I get to add to them. So I get to say, how about this? I know this great lender, local lender. Let me connect you with her and let's see where you're at, see where you're pre-qualified for. And then we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I agree. I like to make those face-to-face meetings. And then as a follow-up, the second question in regards to safety is something that, like, you know, I'm really conscious about as a woman, and I'm 35, and I try to not go on first appointments that are showings with just that one person. If there is a situation like that, I'll usually bring another agent along with me, or we just don't meet at the home. Sometimes we'll meet for a coffee or something before the showing. If there's not time for that, then I'll try to bring somebody along. And sometimes it's just not, you just can't do it, and you just kind of have to go to the appointment and you have to go alone. So, you know, you can carry something with you if you need to protect yourself. But there's lots of ways, I feel like, to protect yourself and keep yourself safe, as long as you're being conscious about it. But yeah, I completely agree. We try to make those appointments. I try to do two a week as well. And I try to make 15 contacts a day, and I just keep track every day. So those are like brand new conversations about real estate that I'm having with people. I feel like if I do 15 a day, it usually turns into at least 2 appointments a week for me.
Really great, Ashley. Yeah, it's awesome. Somebody asked in the comments, like, hey, a lot of my connections through Ojo is people out of town. It's like, how are you going to meet them if they're out of town? again, I can speak to my own personal team and the hundreds and hundreds of agents we coach around the country on this lead source. If they're not doing on average 1+ virtual showings a week for the first time, right? That's still a Met. It's like, Josh, I see, right, you're in California, I'm here, and you can't be here until next week. I'm going to be over in the Raleigh Hills neighborhood this weekend. Why don't I give you a FaceTime call Saturday around 1 o'clock, and I'll walk you through the property. Now, I understand you won't be here for 4 or 5 more days. I'm not expecting you to buy it at that point, but I'd hate for it to be sold by the time you get here without being able to see it. So will that work for you? Saturday at 1, we'll start with the FaceTime showing. And 99% of the time, they're going to say yes. So now I've got 20 minutes with them. Jeremiah, it's super safe because they're in California. I'm on my cell phone here in Portland, Oregon, and I have a chance to meet with them, forge a relationship, and determine, is this somebody I want to invest time, energy into to gain their business? We've got a handful of questions I want to hit. Rustin, anything else on that wasting time on that first showing you want to touch on?
Yeah, it's the market of the moment is a real question. Kodak didn't realize what the market of the moment was. They kept on issuing film and they're completely out of business. Do people still take pictures with film? Yes. There's more than one way to go about doing business. This is just what has become, has been introduced in the business simply because of the society we live in. It's an easy button. They want it quick. They want it now. It's instant gratification. The audience demands a performance. And if we're not providing them that performance, they're gone. They're going to move on to the next. So it's at your discretion whether or not you want to potentially introduce different types of beliefs into your practice that's going to allow you to have a higher rate of success. And when you are in front of someone, you have all forms of communication. You got body language, which is 55%. You've got tonality, which is 38%. And you've got your word selection, which is 7%. You have 100% of communication that you're able to interact with somebody. Safety-wise, we've got women on our team, some ladies on our team, and they always either buddy up or they have with one of the guys, or they'll go up in a group of 2, and they never go into the house first. They let the individual in first. So they put themselves position wise in a place where they're still have an opportunity to exit if they need to. And if you have that gut reaction where you're just like, ooh, something doesn't feel right, turn around and walk away. Just get out of there. Because your intuition, your intuition will tell you what to do.
Awesome. All right, next question. Thank you, guys. That was great. And Jeremiah, I agree. Like, the world is changing. And for those that are willing to adapt with it, specifically for this type of lead source, you're going to have a better relationship and you're actually going to sell more homes. I swear to goodness. You just got to get out of the limiting beliefs that that's how I've done it or that's how I was trained. There's a new way to do it for this type of lead. All right. This is happening constantly, right? We're getting connected and then we're looking in the multiple listing. I don't personally look at the multiple listing while I'm on the call. Right? I don't. Like, it's going to distract me. I want you to learn about them, what houses they want to see beyond this one, and why they picked this location. I want to schedule an appointment. Then I want to do what Josh said and have that follow-up, that second conversation. But regardless, at some point, I've got to look at the multiple listing. And the property went pending this morning, and I got connected at 10 a.m. I know you guys are seeing that with these leads as well. So how do you overcome that? Well, we only want to see this home. No, we don't want to meet with you, Josh. No, we don't want to schedule a buyer consult. What do you do to overcome that, buddy?
Ask them how they would feel if a home just like the one they wanted to look at was also for sale and sold before they saw it.
It's really good.
Yeah, just a question. If they're looking at one very, very direct question. So is there a reason you picked this home specifically? Did you grow up in this house? Do you know the neighbor? Do your parents live on the street? Right. That's an absurd objection that they only want to look at one home.
Yeah. Yeah. But we do hear it constantly. I think what they don't want is to be sold by another realtor. I think that's also a great opportunity where you can bring in that pocket listing scripts. Well, what if I could show you a couple of properties that aren't even on the market? Rustin, anything you're doing different or unique in the islands with you get the connection, you get the referral, and then you determine the property's already in a pending status?
No, we just ask for motivation. Like what about the property first attracted them? It was in this specific area or this amount of bedrooms or baths or this price range. Perfect. As far as the inventory concerned, it's literally one snapshot of what's available today. We actually have properties that are off market. There's properties going to be coming on tomorrow that will absolutely be similar to this particular property. So unless it, again, like Josh has said, unless it's something that is specific in terms of you grew up in this house, or this is next door to your parents' house, something specific of that nature. And even if it is, guess what, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, we literally can go down the block if you'd like, and I'll be happy to make the phone calls to every single one of and door knock the neighborhood for you to see if we're able to drum up that inventory for you.
Awesome, Winston. Really good. Really good.
I would just add to, I'm sorry, I would just add to, like, I would keep that appointment even if the house is pending. I tend to keep that appointment anyway. Okay, the house is pending. Let's just meet out there. Who knows? Maybe they're taking backup offers. It'd be good to meet in person, see the house, see what you like about it, what you don't like about it. Because, it's not a waste of time to go see a house that, is already pending, because you're going to learn so much about that person. And having that face to face, makes it really valuable.
300% more likely, Ashley. When we meet somebody, 300% more likely they'll conduct business with us. So yeah, for 2.5 years in the business, I know you're on a great team. You are throwing some gold nuggets. So I'm really glad you joined us today. All right. I would love to buy a new house, but I've got a 3% interest rate. Like, I don't want to move, Cooley. Like, well, I do want to move. I don't want to lose my 3% interest rate, right? We are hearing this message consistently as well. I'm gonna wait because I don't want to lose this. Where are you going with that?
It's coming to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's important about the move?
Well, we had twins since we got here, and they're busting at the seams, and we have 2 more dogs, and we need more space. But I've got a 3% interest rate.
So 3%. Did you buy in 2020?
No, I refinanced then.
Oh, great. Okay. So do you have good equity in your home?
Oh yeah.
All right. Are you looking in the same price point or looking to move up?
We're moving up. We need a bigger home.
Yep. For the kiddos. Okay. So do you have a good equity position where you'd be putting quite a bit of money down?
I would imagine, yeah.
Okay. What was your payment before you refinanced?
I don't remember, buddy. That was 3 years ago. I got a 3% rate. I love it.
That's great. I'd be curious to know what your rate was when you purchased your last home. It's probably similar to what this payment would be moving forward. I'm just guessing. And you did it before, and our money today is worth less than it was then. Would you do me a favor? And if I called you back tomorrow, do you think you could find that somewhere?
Yeah, I could look it up.
Okay, great. So this home that you're looking at here at 123 Main Street, is that something you'd like to take a look at?
Yeah, sure. Let's see it.
Okay, because I have a 300% better chance of closing you if we meet there. So it's good. Please do me a favor.
Let's give Josh a round of applause. That was great, right? But that is a common objection we're facing. He took me through a series of questions. And at the end of the day, he really was hitting hard on, I've owned my house for a while. I've got some equity in it. And he also got to what we talked about earlier, which is the emotional side, right? The logic side is I don't want to lose my 3% interest rate. The emotional side, since living in this home, my family has grown. I've got more dogs and we're busting at the seams. So excellent job, Josh. I want to move into cash offers because that's something that Ojo is starting to offer. We're going to be getting some connections. Some of you already have, where it's going to notify us up front, like, hey, this lead is looking for a cash offer, more of kind of an open door type offer. Specifically, we know that less than like 7% of people want that offer because it's substantially less than their house is worth. So when you get that lead, and Josh, I know this is something your team's really adapted to well, and you're able to either bring them the cash offer or talk to them about why go traditional listing and make them substantially more. What would that script look like if you were connected with me and I pushed a button saying interested in a cash offer?
2 questions right away will help with this. So Craig, cash offer, amazing. So if you were to get a cash offer today, could you be out in 3 or 4 days?
Negative.
Okay. What's your timeline on when you would be able to move out?
Probably 2 months or less.
2 months. Okay. Is there something important about a cash offer to you versus conventional financing that makes you think a cash offer would be better?
I was just hoping to not have the hassles of like open houses and staging and all that stuff.
Okay. Would you be open-minded to other options if it gave you more money in your pocket and allowed you to move on a timeline that still worked for you?
I do like money. Yeah, I would look at that.
Okay. So if I can find you a buyer that's willing to pay a fair price for your home and you get to move in 2 months or so, you'd be open to that.
I think Josh should schedule a listing appointment. What do you guys think?
Hmm.
Yeah, again, it's a series of those are scripts. It is Stump the Script Master. Absolutely excellent. Rustin, are you guys doing cash offers on the islands?
No, there's not many of those. If I were to get one, and normally we deal heavy on buyers, it would be along the lines of asking, if a cash offer were to come in, because we do have cash buyers
Sure.
so if a cash offer were to come in, what would be a price that you would be comfortable with? X, perfect. So you say, let's say it's, I don't know, I'll just do our price point. So let's say it's at 700,000, and the price is, the street value or the market value price would be like $750,000. At that point is where we would say, okay, for cash offer, you're willing to compromise a little bit on your price for the ease of being able to move, not having to deal with the open houses and everything that goes associated with it. What if we were to find a buyer that was comfortable moving forward, that still allowed you to be in that same position of not having to go through the open houses and, the concern of what you just expressed. And then you link up, because you've got your Rolodex of buyers that you've got, like, however long it is, and you're matching property with that. So
Really
that's
good.
you go.
All right. We still have 350 people on still. This is amazing. We have 9 minutes. So why don't we go to some of the audience questions that have come through? Jenna, I've got some that popped up on Q&A. I don't know if you've got some loaded for us as well.
Yeah, I got a really good one for you. And we
Yeah.
see this a lot. So customer calls and they say, yeah, I'm calling about the property at blah, blah, blah street. The agent says something that causes the prospect to sniff out that they are not the listing agent. And they say, oh, wait a minute. I thought you were the listing agent. I'm looking to talk to the listing agent.
Yes.
Who can
I'll jump in.
Go, Rustin, go.
What about that's important to you? And so go ahead, Reed, we'll role play. What about working with the listing agent important to you?
Yeah, I want a good deal.
Completely understand. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever watched any trials on TV?
Sure.
Okay, so you know that there's a prosecution and then there's also defense. And when you go into trial, you want someone that's going to be representing you in your corner. Would you go to trial as a defendant wanting the prosecution to represent you? Because all of the rights and all of the representation and fiduciary responsibility belongs to the seller. So what would it look like to have your own defense? And by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, the sellers are the ones, the listing agents are the ones that actually pay the commission, so it doesn't cost you anything.
Really good, Rustin. I've listened to thousands of these phone calls, Jeremiah. Thousands, literally. I know that Ojo is starting to record as well. I've listened to many through the Zillow system. Is 9 out of 10 times when this objection comes up, Jeremiah, it's because the agent, we brought it up on that call. And it's like, well, I don't know. It's like, I'm looking at the multiple listing and it says a listing agent wants to accompany us. Let me check with them. I'll call you back. Like, we bring it up. Or that script that Rustin used with Connect, Sell, Learn, he nailed it so well earlier. And he said, let me check with the seller if 1 o'clock works tomorrow. And I'll call you back in an hour and we'll confirm that. What he did not say, Jeremiah, is let me check with the listing agent. Right? 9 out of 10 times when we face that objection, it's because we brought up to them that we're not the listing agent. Yeah. So change your vocabulary. Let me check with the seller and confirm if 1 o'clock works with them. And if they bring it up on their own, which some naturally will, I think Rustin gave you just an outstanding script right there.
All right, next one. I have an agent. My agent just isn't available to show me the property at this time. So I was hoping you could open the door for me.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I would approach it from how committed are you to that agent? So have you been working with them for a long time? Has that agent showed you a lot of houses? Try to figure out what that relationship is. And I usually turn it into, if I found a house for you that kind of matched what you're looking for here, would you be interested in working with me, or are you really dedicated to working with that agent? Oh, I'm really dedicated to my agent. It's actually my brother-in-law. All right, totally understand. In that case, I'd really recommend you give your brother-in-law a call. He probably has another agent that he can work with that can open that door for you. And I'd kind of leave it at that. If it's a really close relationship like that, if it's not, then I would try to steer them a little bit more towards having an open mind about potentially working with somebody else. At the end of the day, you know, if it's not a really close relationship and you do make that appointment, knowing that they have a realtor, it's not a huge letdown if they don't end up working with you, but it's also just another point where you can make that connection with them and maybe flip them. Everything is an opportunity, and it's all about just getting out of your own way. So just having the mindset that you can do it, you can flip that lead and have them work with you if you just, you know, break those barriers down that are in your own head.
So good,
Yeah,
Ash. At the end of the
I heard, I heard a really good one on this where the agent asked, that's interesting. I understand your agent's not able to attend. Well, I'm just curious, are you more committed to getting the house that you want or to using that agent?
Oh,
Yeah, that one hurts. One that we use is we just say, we ask, you know, how long, where are you in the buying process? Well, we've been looking for 2 months. 2 months? Wow. 2 months. Wow. Now, can you help me understand in terms of over this 2-month time period, have you guys signed paperwork? Where are you in that particular aspect of it? No, we haven't signed anything. We've just been going out looking. Completely understand. NAR statistic is that typically 82% of most buyers interview one agent. And I can ask you a real kind of personal question. There's God, family, and business. Real estate is the third largest decision anyone's ever going to make. So let's just say that if you hypothetically that you had some type of illness and you required a specialist to be able to treat that, would you just go out with the first person you had a conversation with, or would you truly interview with that particular individual? We'd love to. So they're going to say, of course, I'm going to interview and find the right doctor. It's going to work for me. Perfect. Real estate is exactly the same thing. And we'd love to be able to sit down, have a casual conversation with you, go through everything from start to finish. So you're comfortable with everything. Are you free on Tuesday or, 2 or Friday at 5, whatever it is, and close the
great
appointment.
job. JT, we got 3 minutes. Do you want to fire some quick questions and we'll wrap
Yeah.
it up?
Here's the next one. How do you guys broach the pre-qual topic? Like I'm just reading chats and listening, and I see a lot of agents that like, they feel like it's kind of going, but then they like tell the customer, you need to go do this to get pre-qualified to do the next thing. And like, it all just falls apart.
Yeah. For me, it's driveway pitch. Like, I don't bring it up till I meet with them, and then I get permission to have my preferred lender reach out to them. And then my preferred lender lets me know if that conversation happens. So I'm just constantly taking notes on, are we heading in a common direction together to help them? And if the answer is yes, then I'll go and show them another house on Monday before they've got pre-qualified. If they're dodging my lender's calls, but they want me to show them properties, I'm backing out. Josh, what do you do different?
Assuming cash in the beginning. I think anyone would like to hear that. Oh, I think I can pay cash. Next is not all homes qualify for all types of financing. Just curious if you've talked to your lender about the type of loan you're proceeding with. Right. Going to a home with broken windows and no roof's not going to go FHA. So it's not a complete lie. That's worked for me for over a decade.
We do assumptive sales. So here's what we're going to do. ... How does that sound? You're at the property. You've gone through the property with them. So here's what we're going to do. The next step in this process is to be able to either sit down, have a conversation with you, go through the entire buying process. And then part of that is also having dialogue with a lender. We'll do a group text, link you guys up, and you guys can have a conversation together. How does that sound? So we literally just move them through the process. We don't.
I try to like, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
I try to like play it off a little bit. Like, if I'm standing in the house with them. Oh, I totally forgot to ask you, are you guys paying cash or are you financing a purchase? Oh, well, we're probably financing. Oh, okay, great. Who's your lender? And then let it steer from there. Oh, I don't have a lender yet. Oh, okay, awesome. Well, I have a local lender, blah, 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 blah. So I kind of try to play it off like it's not a big deal. Like, I'm not gonna like not work with you if you're not pre-qualified, because that's a lot of fear that buyers have too, that I'm noticing, is like they don't even want to talk about it because they're afraid that nobody's going to touch them if they're not pre-approved.
All right. Parting shot from each of you. Give us a mindset tip and your best voicemail that gets a call back.
Okay, I'll go first. Mindset tip is just get out of your own way. The thing that's holding you back right now, I promise, is in your mind. I don't care what the issue is, it's in your head. Also, you should read this book that we are reading right now. Exactly what to say. Talk about scripts. And then voicemail, keep it really, really short. A lot of times I don't even leave voicemails. I don't like them because then people know who I am and they'll probably, block my number or whatever. But if I have to leave a voicemail, it's, hey, this is Ashley Force. I'm a realtor in Eugene, just giving you a call. I got connected with you through this and just kind of wanted to see where you're at and check in with you, have that follow up. I try to keep it super short if I have to leave a voicemail, but most of the time I'm sending a text.
Mindset wise, two approaches. We're here to help. When you coming forward, knowing that you are the best in the area that you are the professional, and in understanding and knowing that if you offer someone help and they say no, it's not an attack against you by any means. It just simply is it's just not now. They don't want your help. That's totally fine with that. In that process, when we're going and working with clients, there's always going to be a voice in your head called limiting belief. And here's one thing that I want to emphasize. Don't give your limiting belief in a voice. Don't give it a voice. So focus on something that is going to be the solution and not the problem. Voicemail depends who the audience is. I've done some where I'm like, oh my God, how are you guys doing today? I know you guys are looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And I hang the phone up. And then they're like, and they call back, hey man, we didn't get your voicemail.
That's a great idea. Oh my God, I love that.
So it just depends. It depends who you're having a conversation with.
Good job, Rustin.
Thanks.
Mindset. I think residential real estate is like a lifelong interview of the industry. So just coming from curiosity and just finding wins and asking great questions and hearing it back, I feel like you get better every day. So all we do is win, right? Voicemail. Hey, Craig, it's Josh Cooley. I got some great 50-yard line tickets for the game coming up. Just wanted to know if you're interested. Give me a call back. That's not true. I'm not sure if it's for you, but I have an opportunity. Give me a call when you can, is the voicemail.
Really good.
All right, Rieger, bring us home. Everybody, please say thank you to the panelists. There's a reactions button at the bottom of Zoom. Go in there, give them a thumbs up if you loved it, give them a heart, give them a smiley face. If it was terrible, give them the clap. Rieger, any parting thoughts?
Just everybody did an outstanding job. Ashley, I'm so impressed with you. And Rustin and Josh, I know you at a much deeper level. You all brought value. I heard a lot about getting out of your own way. I heard a lot of asking questions, staying in curiosity. Excellent job all around. Ashley, if we have referrals for Eugene, Oregon, how do we find you?
Well, you can go to my Zillow. There's my phone number. I can also send out my phone number to the group.
I'm sure that Jenna will put it in the remarks. Ashley Force, Eugene, Oregon, Rustin Tong in Honolulu, Hawaii. Ojo, Jenna, you put this all together. Jeremiah, you're absolutely awesome. But end of the day, guys, we are working in Q4. Most of your markets are going to face seasonality. There's never a more important time to not screw up the first call and to re-engage some of those old leads with some items of value that they shared today. So make it a really strong ending of the year. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Aloha.
Perfect.